Thank you everyone for coming along tonight to our online content panel. We're very excited. We've got a really incredible panel with us tonight. And now I'm going to hand it over to Esther from Media Mentors, who will be our wonderful moderator. And here is the microphone.
Small. And good evening, everybody. Before we kick off, I would just like to make an acknowledgement that we are working, socialising, networking on the traditional lands of the Kulin Nation. And, particularly over the last couple of weeks, I just really want to acknowledge the 60,000 years of storytelling that we are privileged to be inspired by working in Australia. So, welcome everyone. Now, we are going to do, our panel is going to go through the whole life cycle of online content. So we're going to talk about idea development, commissioning, pitching, pathway to audience. I'm going to bang on really annoyingly about pathway to audience, just FYI. We're going to talk about funding and budgets. We're going to talk about making a living. Or not. We'll dabble in production, screening in festivals, and then round off with some top tip type questions. Now, if you have a question, my number is there. My phone is here. I am checking your information. I am not checking Facebook, even though I am that old and I do check Facebook. Okay, we're going to kick off. I'm very briefly going to introduce our fantastic panelists. However, you all have the power of the Google, so I'm not going to waste our fabulous time here by going through people's experience. But we have got Georgia and Max from Haven't You Done Well Productions. We have got Phoebe representing, I feel like I've started off on the wrong foot there. We have got Phoebe representing Screen Australia, to take the title out. Sorry. And then we've got Lyanna, Taysha and Tristan, who have very recently, like a couple of days ago, released their new web series, Life with Kia. It is fantastic. I can highly recommend it. You'll see a clip of it this evening, but I would like to point out that very annoyingly, they have only released 3 episodes. I'm not saying that was a mistake. Okay, we're going to kick off with development. So, I'm going to start with you, Lyanna. So, Kia, tell me about your character Kia and where she started, and what did you tell? Yes, kick off with where she started.
Well, she started in lockdown because I wanted to go back into acting, and there were no acting jobs. You couldn't even go to the cinema because everything was shut. So I was like, okay, well, if I can't get an acting job, then I'm going to make my own. So I took to the platforms, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do silly little skits. And Aunty Kia was born as my Asian mom. So she is based on my Asian mom, even though my real mom is nothing like her. She's completely humorless. I'm sorry, Mom, it's true. But her values and her beliefs are very much in line with my mom's, and her behaviors are more like my grandma's. So I guess you could say she was born out of necessity, because I really needed entertainment within my own home. And then I was really bored because there was nothing to do in the house. But also I wanted to entertain other people, and then I found an audience. And they really liked her because she reminded them a lot of their own parents. So all the ethnic people got together and they were like, oh my God, that's my mom too. I'm not even Asian. That's totally my mom. That's how she came to be. And now she's an internet sensation. She's completely taken over all of my social media accounts. And she is the star. People don't even care about seeing me anymore. They just want to see her. Yeah.
And so, What made you, because obviously, for those of you who don't know, Lyanna has an obscene, terrifying number of subscribers. Like, we are in the presence of an internet sensation, I think it would be fair to say.
3.6 million.
No, up.
That's just on one.
That's just on one part.
Yeah. We're talking 10 million. Okay, big deep breath for everyone else. So, obviously you've got a character, she's hugely successful, you're hugely successful. Talk to me about why you wanted to develop this further.
For Live Kia.
Yeah.
Well, I think Aunty Kia she's only been seen on short form, so we're talking about vertical videos that you see on Instagram Reels and TikToks and stuff. And this was before I made the switch to YouTube. So I was just doing Instagram and TikTok. And you would just see her in these very short 1-minute videos, less than that even, of her just being really sassy. She's got a lot of character, we know she has a lot of character, and she is a little crazy. She's a little crazy, but we like that about her. But we don't know what she's like as a person. We don't know what she's like as a person, but everybody already sees her like she's a real person. So I thought, okay, well, actually we were sitting in a car. Me and Taysha were sitting in a car. She was driving me home, and I was like, Taysha, I feel like she should have her own show. And at this point, people have been asking for it anyways. People were like, okay, well, when is the Aunty Kia TV show gonna come out? Because we need to see her in a show. So I was like, Taysha, do you wanna make a Aunty Kia show? And then she was like, yeah. So, and then we did. Then we applied for Screen Australia.
And we'll go into that in a moment. But, so Lyanna, Taysha and Tristan worked together as a cohort, and they did 4 episodes. Do you call it Kia's Life?
Yes, we called it Kia's Life. That was our proof of concept for Life of Kia when we applied for Screen Australia, and it was, I don't know, I don't think it was very good, but it did what it was meant to do, and I think it had some potential in it. But what we really wanted out of that was to see Aunty Kia as a real person with wants and needs and flaws, and to see her as a person and not just some internet character. So that's why we did Life of Kia.
Amazing. That was a beautiful segue. Should we see Aunty Kia?
Yes.
Mom! You were hasten to what? Yeah. You told me to. Huh? 4 p.m. groceries, remember? Oh. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, mistake happened. Yeah. Oh, I think you have good taste.
Well, they do taste very good, don't they? I love them rice.
Yeah, me too. Hey, actually, there's a restaurant nearby. If you want, maybe you and me Honey, are you finished?
Yes, baby. Just heading to the cashier.
Okay, hurry baby. I want to go to boutique before they close. My pink Captain Gucci, you buy for me?
Of course not.
Oh, thank you, honey.
I love you.
She's so lovely.
80块半，
哎呀，这贵。
再来一次吧。
So cool. Oh, baby, so embarrassed.
你有没有搞错啊？多一次。
Oh my God, so the poverty.
那
Hi, thanks for calling Commonwealth Bank. How can I help you?
Yeah, I tried to use my card today. How come cannot use ah?
Could you be more specific?
I touched my card on the machine. They got the bang sound.
The what sound?
The bang sound ah. Yo, I tried so many times, I still cannot use. Why?
Ah, I see. It sounds like the card's been declined.
Ah, yeah. So how to incline?
Let me check that for you now.
Okay, okay.
Right, it looks like your card was declined due to insufficient funds in your account. It's a very easy fix.
What do you mean?
I mean, there's not enough in your account to use your card.
So I'm poor?
That's just, it's so good. It's such a good series. I really hope that you watched that and felt really proud of yourselves. Like, and it's done what you wanted in terms of expanding the character. Alright, so that is Life of Kid. That's developing a show based on something that already exists. Max, how do you, because you work with lots of different creatives to help them develop their work, can you just give us a quick overview of how you would approach, what kind of process you have to develop things?
Yeah, well, we work with, we've got two parts of our kind of what we do. One is How You Know Well, which is a production company, and that we specialise in comedy and working with comedians and comedy creators. And the other half is Grouse, which is our a YouTube channel that we started as a platform for a place for people to be able to release comedy web series and that kind of thing, where it could already have an audience. So like one channel that can be built over time, grow an audience over time, so when people release something, there's an audience there, because one of the hardest things in online space is trying to start a channel from scratch. So yeah, we work sometimes either with creators as having done well with the production company, and that would be to kind of really, in a traditional production company sense, work with them, on the development of the show, and then also the production and all the way through post. Or it could be they might make something and we would just release it on Grouse, or a combination of the two. So yeah, if we're working with, as having done well with a creative, our approach is kind of really come from a philosophy of what we've experienced in our careers as Aunty Donna, which is where all this also started as a comedy group. And yeah, we've kind of, having been on the receiving end of working with broadcasters and the like, where you kind of get told what direction you should take something in, or what notes you should do, what things you should change, and no one ever loves that. So we try to bring that into when we work with people, which is to trust the creator. If we're working with someone because and we usually are working with people who have at least done some large shows at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, or released some other online content. We're working with them because we love what they do, and we just want them to do more of that, and bigger and better versions of that. So development for us is kind of quite hands-off in that way. Kind of really want them to come with the idea that they want what they want to make, and then we're just there always to bounce things off, because we work with people who are like, this is exactly what I'm doing, and they want to do it. Other people are like, what do you think would work best, and and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we can be as involved as they want to be, and read scripts and give feedback and watch edits and give feedback and that kind of thing. And if we're producing, then, in that kind of traditional sense. But yeah, otherwise generally pretty hands-off.
Sounds like a dream production company. So, you've developed your show. Now you need it to be commissioned. So we're going to start off talking to Phoebe. Do you know, it's like passing along the talking stick. So Phoebe, what programs does Screen Australia offer at the moment in the online space?
Yeah, sure. So we have online production funding and online, I should go in the other order actually. We have online development funding, we have online production funding and completion funding. So I guess to differentiate the three, development is when you're still working on writing it or creating it in some form. You've not shot anything yet, and you can come to us for funds for like a writer's room, or it could be, some creators have different methodologies. Maybe they're doing a more improvisation-based development process. It could be to get a script editor on board to try and get someone with more experience to help pull your story together. Then production funding is basically to make the thing, but because we don't do retrospective funding, so we're not going to fund stuff you've already made, there are also cases where people have gone into production but just they need that little bit of extra support to finish something, and that's where our completion funding comes in. So that's a smaller amount of money usually, and it's for like post-production and marketing and a combination of other things within that realm.
Okay, and we talked very briefly on the phone about a development plan. What is a development plan?
So when people apply for development funding through Screen Australia, one of the documents that we ask for is a development plan, and that's basically your chance to articulate to us where the project is at, what's not working at this point in time, and what your plan is to address that. So it's an opportunity to be quite honest. You don't need to necessarily pitch yourselves in that document. It's about being really frank. Here, this is where we're at. We've done this part of it so far. We have, the project has these weaknesses. Being very, direct, I think, is important at this point. And then articulating, these are the people we have within the team. This is the process that we're going to go through. This is why. This is why we think it's going to work, and this is where we want to get. And so it might be like, we have an outline, but we want to deliver to you first draft scripts, and we're going to do that by doing, these three things, or whatever it might be.
Awesome. And you also run quite a number of programs, like the Skip Ahead program.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about what you've got coming up?
We don't have any new ones to announce at this point. We're about to go into the next round of digital originals workshops. So that's kind of what we're working on behind the scenes at the moment. There's nothing kind of publicly coming up. But we've got, in the past we've done Skip Ahead a few times, which is the YouTube initiative or YouTube Screen Australia partnership that's more aimed at creators who already have a following online but want to move into narrative, not just sketch or whatever it is that they've been doing so far. We've done Every Voice with TikTok, Digital Originals is with SBS, Fresh Blood with ABC, so we have a kind of collection of different initiatives to try and give emerging creatives, particularly from, often people who are coming from historically underrepresented or excluded voices, to try and give people that opportunity to get a credit and start developing their ideas.
Excellent. Should we have a look at the things that Screen Australia have done recently? Mom, can we have a second clip, please?
Yes. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone! Shut up and listen.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
Oh, that's big. It was blown in the heck up.
Ah, she's looking good.
What a year of sex.
I'm pregnant with Taysha.
But it's okay.
There's no need to panic.
Welcome to this hard slap in the face that I'm energetically sending to you all.
You might find yourself trying to block out the reality of your situation.
Australia's largest city is home to the country's sickest urban rhythm.
If I affirmed my gender in any obvious way, I would no longer have a place in the sport.
I'm on a mission to find the best of these bad words in our lingo.
And so my plan was just to explain it to you in a cute little video about how to do the experiment at home. Well, I'm getting a corporate job.
In London.
Corporate job?
Yeah, sorry, no headlighting.
Cool still means good, right? With the youth.
I hope that's been interesting to you. If it has, please. And I'll see you in my next video.
Amazing array of work. It must be genuinely cool to be involved in that aspect of it.
It really is, and I think it's also just such a testament to how many different creative people there are out there who have something to say, and I think the online space often works really well to prove that there is an audience for different things that maybe traditional media has not wanted to take a risk with.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, we're going to Taysha. We're going to talk, because Taysha and the team got money through Skip Ahead. And Taysha, Lyanna, I love your story about pitching for Skip Ahead. Do you want to tell me how many weeks and months you slaved for on this application?
So many. Well, we were actually filming our little sort of pilot season, Kia's Life, which was originally Life of Kia. And one of the actresses, Sasha, was like, oh, you know, Screen Australia's got this thing coming up and you guys should apply for it because I think it's perfect for you guys. And we were like, oh, yeah, but, you know, Lyanna's going to Malaysia soon and, you know, when is it due? And she's like, oh, in 3 days. And so we were like, oh, okay, sure, we'll do it. And so for the next 3 days, we slaved away and did not sleep and put in these applications and wrote, and Lyanna had to film the whole pitch video the day of her leaving. And do you want to continue the story?
Yes. I filmed the pitch video because we were like, oh my god, we have to put in a pitch video. We have to put in a pitch video. Yes, we have to put in a pitch video. Oh my god, how do you do a pitch video? Does it have to be professional? No, I don't think so. And that whole conversation lasted for about 5 minutes because we were like, we're running out of time. Do you want to make a pitch video or not? I was like, okay. So put it together the same day that I was going to leave to Malaysia, and then so. I'm so sorry, baby.
I'm just gonna pretend I never did that.
Okay, no, but like, let me preface everything by saying that like this was totally serious for us. Like we were totally applying for it super seriously. We really wanted it to be great. We just only had 3 days, and there was not a whole lot that we could do about it. We only found out about it 3 days ago, so we were totally serious about it, baby.
I mean, yeah, it's okay. But, you know.
So much I think we were not serious about it. It totally was. So we sent it in, as in we clicked, you clicked,
yeah.
Taysha clicked the submit button 2 minutes before it was due. So, you know.
I feel stressed for you.
Dude, Taysha had 2 minutes and she had shitty internet and everything. She was like, oh my god, please, Optus, please. I don't know how to do this, come on. 2 minutes, okay.
let us show something. And I want to preface this with it is really unusual to get to see people's pitch videos. It is really rare that people let you see them. And when I asked, they were all like, oh no, we're so shy. And then I watched it and I'm like, I have no idea what you want to be shy about. It's freaking awesome. So thank you, because it is a genuine, it's a real privilege to be able to see this kind of stuff. But I think it gives you an idea of what, if you're going into one of these competitive rounds, what you're competing against. And it's important that we talk about these things and we see them. So, come on, can we play a clip? Next up.
I'm Lyanna, and I'm here to ask you very nicely to help me bring more content to... Lyanna, what are you doing talking to yourself like this? Like, no, sitting in the room, I'm filming a pitch video. Oh, hey, let me do, go. Just let me do. There's a wrong anyways, go. Okay, I've been waiting for this a long time, okay, yes, hello, yes, it's me, Aunty Kia, in the flesh, the one and only. You are welcome, it's very nice to meet me, I'm sure. I know you look at me and you think, just another stereotypical Asian mom character with the ching chong and the ling long, but no, okay, I'm not just a character. Underneath all this perfection is truth from real experiences. And I want to tell my story, which is also the story of many other immigrants and immigrant children. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people from all over the world can relate to me and my situations, you know? And my story is unique because I am Chinese Malaysian, born and raised, true blue. And there are not many Chinese Malaysian stories out there, trust me, I have looked, I want to let my fans follow my adventures here in Melbourne with my best friend Waylin and my daughter. Say your name, I like to keep things quite light-hearted, you know. Think Kim's Convenience meets Phua Chu Kang. Oh, you don't know Phua Chu Kang? Oh, it's an old Singaporean show, but it's very old. Not many people remember it now. And even though I am so amazing, this show is not just going to be about me alone. It's a proper show with different characters and a story arc and everything, And ultimately, it's a story about family and love and finding your community in a strange place in a different country, and also about the bond that we can have with one another despite our cultural differences. You know what that is? That's exactly what you're looking for. That's 6 minutes long. Okay? And this series has a core team of Chinese Malaysian women, including myself, of course. So you know that our stories are unique, you know? And we are so proud of this series that we have gone and created a pilot season to test the waters at absolutely zero budget. Yes, you have heard of El Chapo? Well, I am El Chipo. In Australia. Helping me is helping give Southeast Asians, specifically Chinese Malaysians living in Australia, a voice. Because as I said before, there's really not much of us around. And I have an audience of 4.6 million on TikTok and 1.7 million on YouTube. And it's growing every single minute of every day. So you know this series is basically already selling itself. Okay, so my bank account details is and my DSB.
Amazing. Now, on the off chance that you are looking for a different route for commissioning, Max, what other routes are there for commissioning? And then Georgia is going to talk to us a little bit about how to actually pitch. So Max, do you want to talk about what other avenues creators have got?
Oh boy. So the obvious one is the state funding bodies as well. Do have online funding, mainly for production, I think. But other than that, I've heard like many different kind of ways of people finding things. There's often like local council grants and that kind of thing as well. Like, you know, City of Melbourne will have like an application open and you can apply and that kind of thing. Otherwise, it's a lot of people just kind of making it off their own back And it's, as much as it kind of sucks to put your own money and stuff into things and to not be able to get funding, it's a good way to start though. And it's certainly how we started, and I know a lot of people have started, and it kind of is the unfortunate reality to kind of, be a way to be able to, kind of discover what it is that you want to do, and what your kind of voice is, and tone, and all that kind of thing, and also start growing an audience. And kind of like given that advice to people who have come to us wanting to do, say, a web series and wanting to go to Screen Australia for production funding, but they haven't made anything before. They might have done like one live show and that kind of thing. And if you can tell me if this is the wrong advice, but I have kind of often say that like they might be better off just like making just like 5 sketches on the weekend, with a small little team, and just like use it as a way to kind of like film some stuff and get some stuff going, and start to build their channel a bit, so that when they do go into Screen Australia, they're a bit more prepared, with a bit more background, and then that pathway is just a little bit easier. I'm sure Screen House probably do fund people who've never done stuff before as well, like production funding, but I think it always helps if you've got that little bit more behind you. So kind of just trying to make some stuff is a very valid and common approach.
Now, if you are in the comedy realm, you might be really interested in pitching your product, Grouse House. George, do you want to talk to us a bit about what people need beyond a fantastic pitch video?
Yeah, we need to have our pitch video, I'm just saying that.
Really good, wasn't it? How do people pitch to you? What do they need? What's a good pitch?
Well, for context, just after hearing the 3-day pitch that the Kia team put together, we allocate 4 weeks usually for our pitches to prepare everything that we're getting together for a Screen Australia application. In terms of a Grouse House pitch directly to us, we work in a bit of a different way, because we come on board as a production partner, or we come on board as a distribution partner. So you can work with our 2 brands in different ways. Haven't You Done What Productions is obviously a production company. So you can come in and you can pitch to our development team. You can just send us documents if you've got an idea. We do like to see it as a thought out idea. We don't really accept like a 1-paragraph top line, here's an idea, what would you do with it, kind of pitch. We like to see that creators have really worked on this and, given it a lot of thought, have a vision for it, and are actively doing work to get it made. So at least the name, the logline, the 1-page paragraph, maybe a 1-page synopsis paragraph about what the series is, what the arc is, who the main characters are. So like at least 5 pages, I would say. And then we take it internal, and then we review it, and we sit down and we think, oh, is this right for a Haven't You Done Well production, or is this more of just a Grouse House, either distribution project or a production for that? And then we talk about whether it has market appeal, whether it's right for our audiences, whether it has a good creative team behind it, backing it. We speak to holistic diversity. We want to make sure all of our projects are, amplifying the, underrepresented voices in comedy, which is a very common thing as well. And then we kind of also see if our internal development team are feeling very passionate about it as well. And if it kind of ticks like most of those boxes, we go, great. We're going to have a chat with the creator, and we're going to speak to them about our long-term strategy for that project. And we don't force them into anything. We go back and we present that idea. We say, we see X, Y, and Z for this. We want to go in for Screen Australia funding, or skip the heads opening up, or we've got digital originals, and we essentially present back our strategy for the lifespan of the project. And if the creator is on board, then they go, yes, or they go, no, not for us, we're going somewhere else. Princess, off you go, sure, that's great. But if they go, yes, we really want to work with you on it in either a production capacity or just a distribution capacity, whatever it kind of falls out to be, then we kind of like get going from there. So it's a big process for us. We take it all really seriously. We review every single project that comes through our doors. Even if it is very light touch as well, we will always give feedback. We will come back and we say, it wasn't right because of this reason, or we love it, please take it further. We want to see it when it's, 5 pages deep, or, we love it, but we think it's not right for us, and we think you should go to this company or this company because they're experts in your field, not comedy specialists in what we're experts in. So we take it all very seriously, and we love what we do. We're extremely passionate about, our entire development process. But yeah, it's not something to underthink, I would say. It's something to take, very seriously, even in that really initial stage, if you're presenting it to like a potential production partner or distribution partner.
Awesome, and let's stick with you about distribution. So one of the things that I think we can all get really caught up in an idea, but if we haven't got an audience and a pathway to audience, we're kind of just making things for our mums and dads. Not the end of the world, but you probably want to reach more than that. So Grouse House is a distribution partner. Why, this is a rhetorical question, so I know the answer. Why would I want a distribution partner like Grouse House?
Well, Esther, do you want to be an influencer?
No!
Well, if you don't, then you should have a chat with us. Because genuinely, it's really hard to build your own audience. It is almost impossible on YouTube nowadays. It was a lot easier, when Donna were building it as well. Not to, say it was an easy job, because it definitely wasn't. But it's a really hard thing to do. The algorithm doesn't support people that are just kind of like wanting to dump a bunch of content onto it. It really supports consistent uploading, people who are, seeing it as like a long-term pathway to produce and release projects. And sorry, I forgot the question.
Yeah, do you know what? It was basically about you provide, Grouse House is a channel. Making a channel for a one-off web series is a freaking nightmare.
It's hard. Look, it's not impossible. It's absolutely not impossible, and projects do get funding with just that as kind of like a pathway to audience. I'm sure that there are other things that come around it in those applications, but for us, there's a lot of strength in releasing a project to an audience that are already established, and you've got 80,000 people sitting there wanting to see more of those kinds of projects. So it is a very strong way to put together a pathway to audience for these applications. And it's really hard to build to that level on your own if you're not wanting to be an influencer type, or have like a long-term character that you want to build a brand off of. If you are just wanting to be a filmmaker and wanting to make projects and struggle in this really small market which doesn't have much opportunity when it comes to online funding and creation, as much as Screen Australia are doing, it is very, very hard. So Grouse House exists to support emerging comedic filmmakers and give them that pathway to audience without having to build it yourself. It's a really nice thing, I think.
Should we play that clip?
Sing it.
There are rumours that are spoken, that are whispered through the scrub, that are sung over mountain ranges, shouted over parklet pub.
Hold up. I'm going to give a bit of a little speech here.
Of a home for silly billies, where hilarity's your spouse, 4 walls of mirth and merry, a house that's truly grouse. Curated by Aunty Donna with a truly Aussie vibe. We ask that while you're here, won't you like, comment, and I can't fucking do that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the like thing.
Just once?
No.
And then it's done.
I won't do it.
Just once.
They're smart people. We want smart people on this channel. They know if they want to watch something, they know to subscribe. A smart person, I'm not doing it. I won't do it. A smart person knows to hit that bell. A smart person knows to hit that subscribe button. You shouldn't have to fucking explain it to them. So I'm not going to fucking do that.
Cut.
Can I also just speak to the delineation, I think, between the production side and the distribution only side, is that we've got four probably original projects on the channel at the moment that we produced. So we call them Grouse original series, and they are the ones that we worked with the creators kind of like ground floor to build up and develop and go through development funding, and then took through production funding and did inline with both Haven't You Done Well Productions and Grouse House. But we also have 4 projects on the platform at the moment that were part of a distribution-only deal. So essentially, we were just their pathway to audience on their applications to get their funding. So we just essentially connected them with those 8,000 followers to see their project. And we had no touch on the production side of things. We didn't make any money off of that. It was literally just, here's the content, can you release it kind of deal. And we love that we've been able to do that for emerging talent with like smaller to less established audiences.
Yeah, and having, look, being able to reach an audience is we're so hard to find and so important. And thank you. Team down the end, at the other end of the scale, releasing to an audience with a fair amount of subscribers. Tristan, do you want to talk a bit about what works in terms of a pathway to audience when you're working with a creator and what you need to bear in mind?
I think, just to use Kia as an example, I think Lyanna was always very created a community for her viewers. So she actively engages with them a lot, and she got a lot of feedback, and again, that's where a lot of it sort of motivated us when we wanted to start developing Aunty Kia. But yeah, I think in our case it was just building that interest, but keeping in mind, like in the pitch video, that there are people connecting with the material and they want to see something, and to sort of elevate that and connect to that and just sort of get it out there. But Lyanna's very good at talking to her audience. Just gotta say that. And the response has been very good with the recent series and the positive feedback we've got for it, and again ticking those boxes that we wanted people to connect to. So yes, does that answer the question?
Yes. And Lyanna, you said something really interesting to me about your channel isn't a channel, it's a show. Do you want to explain what you meant about that?
So that's about, so we're talking about virality, right? Like how to go viral and how to really make it hit. How to make a hit on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, whatever, right? What have you. You know how you watch TV and you have a channel, right? I don't watch TV here, but I used to watch TV back in Malaysia, right? We had a TV channel called NTV, and you would have everything from news to cartoons to movies and TV shows, everything. You would go to that channel for everything, and then you would have different times for different stuff, right? You can't do that on a YouTube channel because people normally go to you for a thing that you're very good at. So you don't treat your channel, your YouTube channel, like a channel. You treat it like a show. The whole thing is your show with characters that you made, and so that people can come back to your channel to see the thing that you're really good at. Like Aunty Kia, for example. She's the main character. Everybody only wants to see her. What happens is if you try to veer too, I'm not saying that you can't do other things on your channel. Like do whatever you like on your channel, obviously. But if you veer too far from what your norm is, you will find that you will lose followers and you will find that people lose interest very quickly, okay? Because this is not Netflix and it's not Paramount, you know, they won't stay in the app. They'll go out of your channel, they'll watch somebody else. Because if you're not entertaining anymore, what's stopping your audience from ditching you and going to find someone else who does pretty much the same thing as you, but better? So that's what I meant by sticking to what you do best. And if you wanted, for example, to explore a different avenue, like maybe you wanted to start a whole new other thing, start a different channel. Don't cannibalize what you've got going on that's good. Am I saying that this is pigeonholing? Yes. But that's what YouTube wants you to do. That's what TikTok wants you to do. The more you can niche down, the better it is for you. That's just my experience anyways. I think other people have had different experiences whereby they can do a whole bunch of stuff on their channel, but all of it still kind of ties in to their main stuff anyways. But it's not like, you know, they're a comedy channel and all of a sudden they want to do an educational channel within their channel about airplanes. Like, that's what I mean.
Knowing your audience, delivering your audience what they want, keeping audience focused is so true. It's true for everybody who makes content. Funding and budgets. Phoebe, what kind of budgets are we talking about for online content? What should people be pitching? Do they need to bring in other funding sources? And my always favourite question, if I pitch a really tiny budget, will you definitely give it to me?
Trying to figure out which order to go in. Tiny budget is not necessarily the best approach. Now I'll go back to the start and then we'll figure out why. But we're normally funding, like in terms of what we'll put into a project, it's usually between like 100 and 300. We can go up to 500, but in that 300 to 500 bracket, we're expecting there to be some kind of broadcaster attached. That's who's putting money in, essentially, and that we're not the only ones in there. In the 100 to 300 range, it can be that we are the only contributor in that finance plan. It's always more competitive if there are other people involved, and other people can look like, sorry. I'm choking on like a piece of something.
Do you need a moment? Should we ask somebody else some questions so you can...
I think it's alright, I'm just gonna...
Please don't choke to death in the middle of it.
It could be like a brand partnership, for example, or a state agency, a production company could be putting money in. There are a whole lot of different ways that can look, but the idea is that, we like to see a producer who's gone out and kind of made it work and been able to pull things together. But we also understand that emerging creatives have less access, less connections. So there are definitely cases where we're the only ones in the finance plan. In terms of like how much you should ask for, I think it's a combination of what's the scope of the project, like what does the project actually need to make it within reason, obviously, and then also thinking about what experience do you have with a budget like that. So, if you've made one short film and it was $5,000 that you put into making it, and you come to us and you want $300,000, we're probably going to ask, well, how are you going to manage that? And there are a few ways around that. One suggestion is sort of think about the scope, think about what's reasonable for your first project to come to us with. Maybe it's something smaller before you do that big one. The other option is that you could bring someone on board who has managed budgets like that before. And it's, it's sort of just trying to demonstrate to us that you have the capacity somehow within that team to deliver the project that you're saying that you're going to deliver.
Excellent. Top Rock Productions. Who would like to talk finance?
Finance?
Well,
as in finance for like here or?
Yeah, let's talk about...
well, just what Phoebe was talking about, we kind of had an experience before we did Life of Keyless Skip Ahead. We applied for an online fund and we got rejected. But we learned a lot from that experience, from our previous web series. And yes, all the things you're talking about, we learned a lot from that because you guys did give us feedback when we got rejected. So That was sort of first being there, and I think that did help a lot when we did the skip ahead application as well, because we just done one, and so yeah, kind of familiarising yourself with it and what you're kind of looking for and stuff is very beneficial. So yeah, just experience that.
And so you guys went from, or Kia went from TikTok to the videos that you made, the 4 episodes, to, was it 150 you got for Life of Kia?
Yes. So originally we applied for $55,000. Because we with that last question you asked before, we were like, oh, we'll go for the minimum because we don't want to push our luck too much, Well, we can budget. If we can make 4 episodes on $0, surely we can make 5 episodes on $55,000. And so we applied for that, and one day, Lyanna got a call.
Yeah, so 55,000. Then I got the call. It was from Elise. And then it was from Elise.
The detail.
It was from Elise, and she was like, "Hi, I would like to congratulate you for because your project Life of Kia has been selected for the Skip Ahead program, and we would like to fund you for $150,000." I was like, "Huh? What? Hey, how much?" She was like, $150. I said, $150? Because we had only applied for 55. So that was a really nice surprise.
So Phoebe, are you in a position to comment on what happened between them applying for 55 and being given 150?
With an initiative, there's generally a set amount that we're working within. And I guess we're also just never going to approve something that can't be made for the amount that it's like. Yeah, I think in this case it's just a matter of there is just an amount that people are working with, but we're never going to say yes, go ahead with $50,000 that we know you can't make this thing on and can't pay people with.
Legally.
Legally. Yeah. In our world, there's only one.
In our world, you can do anything.
I got friends.
Yeah. So, and there are cases where it's not usually the most common, but more often is that people will maybe ask for a bit much, just given we have a tight budget as well that we need to work with. So sometimes we'll approve a project because it's really strong on a lot of criteria, but we'll reduce the amount that we're contributing. In very rare occasions, we've thought maybe they're asking for not quite enough, but everything else is really strong and we have kind of upped that, but that doesn't happen very often because generally we're wanting to see that people have a reasonable idea of what it's going to take to do the thing.
Yeah. Just out of interest, going from $0 to 150, did you feel like, oh my God, let's have caviar for every break? Or did you actually discover that 150 vanishes like that?
It vanishes so quickly. But we're so glad for the 150 because it did cover everything that we needed, and especially the cast and crew, because that was the biggest sort of thing we needed to budget for, especially now that we had to do it legally. But yeah, so that took out the biggest chunk of the budget. But yeah, really grateful for the 150, and we spent it.
And do you know what? The your production values are really high. It looks like you spent that and some. It looks really, you do a great job. Like you can see the spend on screen.
Well, I think the people that we work with are used to working with zero budget, so they can do magic with nothing. So when you have some money involved, imagine the magic there.
I think I should also say that our director of photography, Sam Vella, we told him, this is like the biggest project that I think he's ever done, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's the biggest project. Then so we told him that we wanted him to come on board as a DOP, and he was like, oh my God, you mean like real responsibilities? Like I have to, oh my goodness.
Now, I've got a question from the audience. This is for minutes. Is there a comedic style that shows need to be hitting to be distributed by Grouse House, and how do you define that?
Yeah, well, you saw how weird that was. So, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, definitely alternative comedy, but yeah, we kind of trying to be pretty broad within alternative comedy.
We did a docu-series earlier this year called Finding Users, and that pushed very, very comedic, but that was even broadening up the channel for us because it was documentary style, it was unraveling mystery, that was real world. And before that, we'd only really done sketch and more sketch narrative series as well. So that was pushing for us. And then since then, we've looked at more of our alternative comedy style of animations as well, which have really resonated. So if it's a good project, it's a quality project, it's really funny and it's doing something different, we want to see it.
Yeah, we're doing now like our first kind of actual really heavy narrative series. Scripted narrative series that isn't sketch, that is you got to watch the episodes kind of thing in order. So yeah, kind of pretty broad in that sense. But then always something a bit heightened or alternative or a bit weird or a bit absurd or something like that in the comedy space.
Excellent. Remember, if anybody's got any more questions, my number's there. Here. We're going to have a little segue into making a living, because I think it's an important conversation to have. So, Georgia, I know that we talked about how you have quite a diverse portfolio of arms, so that you are not reliant on any one thing. Do you want to talk to us a bit about that?
Yeah, so we're a bit different in how we operate, which we feel very lucky to be able to do, but normally you see production companies or television production companies that make their sole revenue based on selling TV shows. We operate a bit differently because of our diversity between Aunty, Donna, Happy Eat Well Productions and Grouse House, which allows us a lot of different revenue streams, a very diverse amount of revenue streams. One of our biggest differences in the market is that Max and I make commercials, and our commercial work tends to pay for a lot of our television and like online series development. So we don't build our slate on TV shows that we think we can sell because we just need to make money. We build our slate on projects with really distinct, diverse voices, regardless of whether we feel like they have market appeal or not. We think we can always find a way to sell a project if it's a good project, no matter what that might look like, and even if it takes years and years and years, because for us it's not really about needing that sale to survive. For us it's about making good stuff that we're super duper proud of, that fits within our brand perception, and that we just want to see in the world.
What a really smart way to operate. Top Rock. Now, Lyanna, you've not got a job at Coles keeping you going.
Sorry?
You've not got a side job keeping you. You're an online content creator. Day in,
yes,
day
she
out.
is my main hoe now.
What about Taysha and Tristan?
We do other things as well to earn a living while we're building up the company and everything as well, because we're not as, we're still starting out in a sense, and we're still trying to build up body of work, the pipeline, the cash flow and all that kind of thing. So we do other stuff. I'm a mother, so that's my main job. Doesn't pay very much, unfortunately. And it's long hours, but like on the side of that, like I do like gig work here and there. I do work on other people's productions when that comes along, and live off my husband's money.
Yes, there's a lot of things, and I still have my other job as well, which is just doing kids' parties and functions and events like that. So we're at that point now where I think we're just, getting there. And Life Key has been an amazing opportunity, and again, meeting so many more people, and getting to that point where we start to sort of make the right connections and build on that.
but we do have lots of dreams, and we have a lot of projects that we have, like, that we're working on and trying to develop so that in the future that we can be self-sufficient and we can not worry about the other jobs except for the parenting thing, and, you know, keep the ball rolling and get paid to do what we love all the time.
And I think it's worth mentioning that it is really hard to make a living out of online content if you're not an influencer or you don't have like a main character. If you're making web series, and we were going to have the team from Pivot with us tonight, and they would talk a lot about the fact that it was a really great experience, it was a really enjoyable creative endeavour, but it is, you know, they are not making a living out of it, and that I think is the truth at the moment, is that we haven't got a situation where you can make web series and make a full-time living out of them.
Just for reference as well, Grouse House doesn't make any money. So Grouse House is more of a creative investment for How You Know More Productions and Aunty Donna as well. So I just want to echo that sentiment from, you know, a team that does this full time. It is not a money maker. We find the value in the pipeline from the different avenues that it provides us, which are proof of concepts, audience building, and also supporting emerging talent. By no means do we make any money off of it. We pay people, but we don't make money.
Okay. We're reasonably short on time, so I'm going to skip the bit about production. You make something. We've all done it. It's fine. So you've got your finished product. You get to screen it then, don't you? Do you want to tell us about, so the team screened their show on Friday night. Do you want to talk about what that was like?
Well, you know, after every production, it's always great to have a screening with your cast and crew. But I think this was really special to us, not only because it was also Lyanna's birthday, but I think the content, the Asian mum content, because my mum is Chinese Malaysian, she's a migrant, and she fits into that category of what Aunty Kia is. And so my mum could come along and her friends could come along, so a bunch of the aunties. And for me, it was just a really proud moment that I could do something for her and have that, because I don't think they've had anything like this. An Australian, Chinese Malaysian, living in Australia kind of content, and to have that and to see them enjoy it. And my mum said that she was proud of me. And that's rare from an Asian mum. But just to have that was really special for me, and to be able to serve that community that doesn't have a lot. But you can talk more about the experience, or do you want to? Okay, well,
I guess it was just nice putting it in the cinema. The power of cinema still exists. To be in a room with all the people and experience that in real time. And as Lyanna was fearful that no one would laugh, I felt assured that they would, and they did. And that was a very awesome experience to have. And then the opposite, sort of, with the YouTube experience going on now with the episodes. Sort of, it's all just online as opposed to in real time in a way, but both very validating experiences.
When you released the series on YouTube, did you sit and watch the view numbers go up?
Well, the first episode dropped that night. After we screened, we were all kind of getting home. And it went up, and I think I was doing that a little bit.
Good. There's no shame. There's no shame in that. It's refreshing. It's totally fine.
I do it with every release.
Yeah.
The ones I didn't make.
Read every comment.
Every comment.
Every hour.
I went to bed. Because I think, listen, I make videos all the time, and they go viral a lot. So at some point, you gotta be like, okay, I'm gonna let this one go, I'm gonna go to bed, then I'm gonna wake up surprised tomorrow morning. But I did, for the first hour, refreshed it, and I was like, oh my god, it's doing so well, yeah.
And I've got a question here. What is the ongoing revenue model for this type of content? And feel free for anybody to answer for online content.
For us, there is a small amount of revenue that comes through just from ads on YouTube as well, and our model offers most of it all back to the creators because we just want to see them, see monetary value in the work that they create. They get paid for the projects as well, but like ongoing revenue is a really important thing to continue development and further work. So we just give all of it back.
Amazing. Phoebe, does that answer your question, whoever asked that, or do you want a bit more?
Yes. That was me.
Oh,
I guess I just wanted to know what happens next. Like once the work is made and it's out there, is there a long tail of revenue? I mean, it's a long tail, but small amounts. But does it help fund the next thing? I guess is the question.
So.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a few different ways. So, as much as we're super generous in giving the YouTube ad revenue back to creators, it's also because it's very tiny.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of revenue that comes from YouTube unless you're putting out like videos that are hitting 500,000 to 1 million plus consistently. In terms of like making money to say to live off. But there's other ways that we've tried to, get revenue off of that, which is on the Donna side, it's always been about selling tickets to the live show. So having, a successful series come out on YouTube boosts the kind of audience base, and that means there's more people to buy tickets the next time we're doing a live show. Selling merch. There's trying to do, branded content or get a sponsor or something for a video. There's, using a successful one series to get funding, a larger pot of funding from a government agency for the next series that, can pay you to make another series. So it's kind of, finding all these other things around that kind of can help, and having multiple revenue streams really to try and survive. And I think the only people living off just a YouTube revenue income are the people who are pushing 1 million views per video kind of thing.
And sorry, Esther, if I can just
follow
up question. Is it ever useful then to put that forward as a proof of concept to someone who get a series like a broadcast series?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a big thing for us is Grouse has, not all of the time, but often acts as a pipeline for us and a way that we can further develop concepts and sell on concepts that are beyond or evolved versions of that original IP. So for us, as a case study, we did Finding Users and we released it on the platform earlier this year, and that had already been 2 podcasts which were validated, and that is what helped us get the funding for season 3 as the web series. And then once we had the web series, we took that internally and we developed it as a TV show idea. And then we took that TV show into the ABC, who then commissioned that into a round of development and greenlit the series. So the pathway is really strong and it works. And it just shows how those incremental kind of like evolutions of your IP can really help you get to your end goal.
Thank you.
And I know, because I've spoken to you guys, Lyanna, that's what you'd like for Keir, isn't it? Aunty Keir would like a big TV series.
Yeah, definitely. We would like to see her on Netflix and everywhere. Just like Kim's Convenience and Fresh Off the Boat smushed together in a nice big Chinese Malaysian potluck party.
All right. This is pretty much all we've got time for. I am going to do one final question to everybody, so we've got a little bit of time for mingling after this. What is your top tip for online creation? What's the most useful piece of advice you could give to anybody in this room who wants to make something online? And Tristan, do you want me to start at this end or with you?
I'm not fast.
Then we'll start with you.
I guess one thing I've learned along sort of the journey of creating stuff as online is lean into your uniqueness. Just whatever kind of weird thing you got going on or sense of humour, whatever. I think don't be afraid to showcase that somehow in your work. I think the Home Data Model team and Grouse House are really good at doing that as well, and just, yeah, and like Lyanna's found that, and I think it's something we share, the same sense of humour, and yeah, just embrace that, whatever that is. Don't be afraid if you find it weird, people connect with it for sure, somehow, somewhere. And online is the best way to find those fellow weirdos, if you want to find them. In a good way. Always in a unique, good way. So yeah, that's my little tip.
So I think know your audience, like what Lyanna was saying before, how her channel is a show. Don't stray too far away from what you've already got going on in terms of comedy and what the audience come there for. Listen to your audience, because before we did this in our application, we took a bunch of screenshots of all the comments that were saying, we need more of Kia, we need a show, when is the show coming out? And we used part of that as our application. So know the audience and know what they want. Now all the comments are saying, when is she coming to Netflix? So we cannot disappoint.
But it's also worth noting that listen to your audience, but they're not always right. No, honestly, I know it's like, it's so hard. Because like on the one hand, yes, listen to your audience because they'll tell you what they want, but they don't always know what they want. Sometimes they think they want something, but then you go to the analytics and it tells you something completely different. So I think it's just like you have to find a middle ground between what the analytics say, what the data says, and what they say. Because the people who interact with you the most are probably only 5% of your entire following. The rest of the people that follow you are quiet. So they're unfortunately not the majority. So you still gotta look at the data, okay? Don't just be wandering out and be like, oh, 5% of people want this, I'm just gonna turn my channel into a cooking one. But that being said though, it doesn't have to be perfect. My biggest tip is you don't have to be perfect. Your stuff doesn't have to be perfect. Your content doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't have to be well written or well shot. I had a shitty Samsung phone when I started, and I got to my first million in my first year. And everything was edited on my phone and everything. I didn't even own a camera. So it doesn't have to be perfect. There's never going to be a right time. But the good thing about online is you can take those risks. And, you know, if your boss finds you, then just quit.
I think from our perspective, seeing stuff coming in, when, you know, one of the documents that we're getting from people is a marketing and release plan. People often ask us, do we need to like pay someone to go and do this for us? And I think they're often expecting us to say yes, but we actually want creators to be putting that together themselves. And I guess the advice is like trust yourself, not just as a creator, but as a consumer of online content. If you're wanting to make something for a particular platform, think about who you are on that platform and how you engage with content on that platform and let that guide you, as well as obviously doing research and thinking about the project and who the audience is for that particular project. But don't feel like you need to go out and get somebody from an agency to make this document for you when there's a really good chance they're good at product marketing but not necessarily online content marketing, and they're two very different things.
Excellent. I think, yeah, building on those last 2 points, you know, when I was saying before about just making stuff at the start, because it is really hard to get funding, and it really helps to just be able to make stuff and try and use the opportunity to see what works and what you're doing, find that niche, you know, that gap that you're trying to fill of content that you want to see, and try to build your own audience a bit and go from there. Because you can be small, and I've always said that Aunty Donna has never had a viral video, and by viral I mean like, you know, 1 million views or even 700,000 views like overnight, 24 hours kind of thing. We've never had that. Yet we made a career out of it. So you don't have to go viral. You don't have to like be pushing like those crazy numbers and stuff to be able to, you know, kind of be a creator online. So you don't have to feel that pressure, and just more about trying to find your audience is more important than that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much just echoing those 2 points, which are don't be afraid to just make stuff. Aunty Donna started out making sketches, in their uni share house, and now they have a Netflix TV show and an ABC TV show. So that all started there. And also they were driven to make the stuff that they wanted to see in the world. So those are two really the key points, I think, overall for all of us. I would say just having that conversation is make it and make the stuff you want to see.
Great way to end. Thank you so much, Lyanna.